It's all the rage these days. Companies touting machine learning this or machine learning that. Vendors promising a cure-all for every IT challenge. The hype is getting pretty thick. So what exactly is machine learning? Traditionally, computers solve problems through programs or instructions given to them by a human. Machine learning just means the computer can figure out a solution without being specifically programmed. These machines have the ability to continuously learn by looking at data and finding patterns. And they do this much faster than a human could. Let's look at two key terms in machine learning: classifiers and algorithms. Classifiers are the workhorse of machine learning that categorize observations, while algorithms are the techniques that organize and orient classifiers. Often, machine learning requires training with sets of correct question and answer pairs that lets both the classifier and the algorithms do great work. Let's look at an example to see how it works. Classifiers analyze specific data patterns, not actual noses or eyes. And with enough training, they can pick your photo out of millions of options. So how do we use machine learning in security? Envision an analytics pipeline that uses many hundreds of machine learning classifiers and algorithms all working together, analyzing millions of internal and external data points and events. The pipeline identifies and separates suspected malicious activity from the normal. It's then organized into specific events and then combined with actionable context for security teams. And it does all this at machine speed. Pretty amazing, right? But machine learning isn't perfect. While rare, it can miss a threat or block a legitimate file. When pressed to explain decisions, it often shares only math logic, which is not helpful in a security investigation. And it requires retraining to account for real-world changes. So how does Cisco use it? We never use it in isolation, but alongside other techniques. To detect malware and encrypted traffic, to find insider threats, to keep people safe when browsing by predicting bad neighborhoods online, to protect data in the cloud by uncovering suspicious user behavior, and many other applications. As a leader in machine learning, Cisco is using it for more effective security. Take a deeper dive into machine learning and Cisco security products at cisco.com/go/stealthwatch.
All right, we are going to take a deeper dive right now. You do not need to go anywhere. If you're hearing me say this, then we're going to do it right now. And so, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and I've got someone, thankfully, that's going to help us go through this. Please welcome Shri. How are you doing?
Thank you. How are you?
You warned me not to try and pronounce your entire name. You've obviously been on the show before, so you know how good I am at that type of thing. Hey, let me start real quick just to make sure everyone understands exactly kind of where are you in Cisco? What group do you work within? What are you responsible for?
Yeah, I work in enterprise marketing, and I lead all any sort of startup marketing, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning and blockchain marketing.
Oh, and blockchain marketing.
Yes,
okay, that's certainly gotten hot lately. But we're here to talk AI ML, right?
Yes, that's right.
So first, let's start big picture, if you will, and help us understand how is this playing a part, out of the labs, if you will, and now redefining actual businesses.
Okay. So, if you look, there are different verticals that are looking at AI/ML in different ways. This is like very early stage of AI/ML, even though the technology has been there decades. Application of AI/ML is very early stage. But if you look at the different use cases that are underlying, there are three patterns that you will see.
Okay.
One is AI/ML is being used predominantly to drive efficiency, through automation. It's either having bots for handling 80% of the customer service calls, etc. That's one of the type of things. So do stuff cheaper, better, and faster.
Okay.
Or do stuff that you've never been able to do before, because you have the access to so much compute capability. You can look at data and trends across a whole amount of data and then come up with new efficient processes. Okay. That's one. The second area is anywhere there is a scarcity, either of resources or of people. Okay, so if you look at areas like, let's take an example in Japan, for example, the farming industry. Yeah. The biggest issue is in a declining population. The kids don't want to do what their fathers did. They don't want to farm. So farmers are resorting to technology and using automated machinery to do farming, but more importantly, they are applying AI/ML techniques to make the farming more efficient, the seeding more efficient, based on weather data, etc.
I bet their kids are helping them with that. At least
I guess
in
so.
my household, that's where I get my computer help.
Yeah, get the kids to do farming through technology, right. Then the third and final thing, that's the low-hanging fruit, which you'll see most applications, is anything to do with proactive or predictive maintenance, right? It comes in machinery, where you can stick a sensor on a machine, measure vibrations for a month, take the standard deviation curve, and whenever you see a vibration beyond that, you flag it and stop the machine.
Oh, that's huge.
Or it could be in you and me.
Right.
I'm South Asian, grab data across a number of South Asians, find out what are we at risk of. It turns out we are at a greater risk for getting heart attacks. So my health inspection could be more tailored towards heart tests, EKG kind of stuff, as compared to your ethnicity, right? So this is how it's being used broadly across different industries.
Okay. Well, so imagine we've got quite a few customers watching the broadcast right now. So imagine we're an enterprise and we're saying, how can I draw value from AI, ML now? What kind of things would you recommend?
Sure. So like I said, there's a lot of broad cases, but if you're an enterprise today, here are the 3 areas you should start applying AI/ML towards. The first one is improve your customer experience. Create new unimaginable customer experience, because 9 out of 10 companies today are differentiating on customer experience. So how can you do that? You can do like some of the examples as I said. An insurance company can use predictive disease control and kind of algorithms to identify a population, pre-warn them, and provide better customer experience as well as reduce costs. So that's one area. The other one is around customer service, etc. And the second one is, improve the workforce experience and innovation, right? Anything. So today's millennials workforce are not like us. They don't like to sit in an office from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So they like to be on the move. Whether it's banking, do it on the train or whatever. So you can look at occupancy monitoring, digital building technologies, and find out which subset of your employees like to be in the office versus elsewhere. Accordingly, design the workforce experience for them by partnering with shared workspaces, companies, etc. So that is another example.
Okay.
The third thing that you can do is to apply anything to transform your existing process and do any sort of disruptive innovations.
Okay.
So in the fields like product development and design today, Boeing uses digital twins to make 1,000 versions of the Boeing engine and test it virtually without incurring the cost to get the best engine configuration.
Oh, nice. So you can fail fast in a safe manner,
exactly.
so to speak. Yeah, and then iterate.
That's where you, if you're an enterprise today, you have to look at those kind of things, where 3 areas where you can apply.
Yeah, I love that thing. Like back to your vibration example, the notion that you think about the company that's using the equipment wanting to know proactively that it's doing something different, and it's a deviation, as you mentioned, but that's also a service opportunity for the people that make the gear and then sell it to somebody, and they go, as part of our service contract, we are monitoring it with these IoT devices, we're taking that data in on your behalf and making sure that your machines that you buy from us are always maintaining a certain level of uptime.
And provide a better value for the money that the customer gives you.
There's so many different things you can come up with. All right, so as our final question, just to make sure we understand how this relates specifically, where does Cisco's strategy fall in terms of artificial intelligence and machine learning?
Sure. So Cisco has a very simple strategy, right? We focus on 3 things. We make sure that we have AI/ML embedded in every one of our products, or at least most of the products. We have a large portfolio of products. So it begins there. What it means is simple things like, do I have to ask all the questions I need to ask to the user, or can I predict some of these things and make the experience better? The second one is we use AI/ML on data that comes out of products. So a classic example is the DNA spaces, which is the formerly known as CMX.
Right.
So we can get a lot of occupational intelligence in a store. Just looking at a Macy's store, we can tell where are the teenagers hanging, where are people going where they shouldn't be, where is the crowd too high so that I can send more customer service agents. All of this intelligence automatically come in and making decisions based on real-time data, similar with airport check-in counters and all of that.
Right.
And these are the 2 areas. And another thing is we also provide you customers the ability to do your own AI/ML algorithms and crunching by providing hardware and software for it. So our recent launch that we did with the UCS server with 4 GPUs, custom design UCS server for processing AI/ML workloads. So you can buy that from us, train your own algorithms, and come up with your own learning models.
Excellent, excellent. I like your example bringing in the DNA spaces, Cisco DNA spaces.
Yes.
Because as we were just seeing with Nish over in the retail store, one of the things we picked up on, and I had a chance to work with Daryl on the spaces opportunity and what's happening. Because CMX, traditionally we've been a little bit confusing in that space.
Yeah.
But the location has gotten so much easier since we've integrated July systems.
Correct.
And there's a level of data here that is so easy to obtain. I was blown away at how easy it is to scale. If you're a Cisco wireless customer, sorry, I'm not going in too off the topic here, but it's a matter of collecting that data so that then you can do something more intelligent with it. It's never been easier.
And the beauty about this is you don't have to invest more people and resources about it. The systems do that for you based on just data and sensors available.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And you can automate the whole thing.
Anything else we need to remember, or where you'd like people to go following up on this?
We have a lot of showcase examples within the world of solutions. People can go here, go to our website. You can go to cisco.com/go/intelligence. Intelligence, where we have a whole white paper on artificial intelligence, the latest trends that's happening, and how Cisco is enabling our customers to be better.
Okay, Sri, thank you so much for making that much more approachable topic than I thought it was going to have to go. Yeah, that's awesome. I think I understand much better. All right, guys, well, there's what you need to go do. We are continuing to move through our topics, and we're going to ask you to stay tuned because we're not going away. We'll be right back in just a moment. All right. So we are back, and let's see, where are we moving on next? We've got the Innovation Showcase coming up in just a moment. We have a full 7 minutes before we go, and I believe we're going to go over to the RF team here in just a moment. But let me talk a little bit more about what's happening with regards to let's say, the Cisco DNA spaces, since I started on that conversation a little bit earlier. Sometimes I think it was confusing when it came to CMX and it came to what are the different SKUs that we have to get into if we're a wireless customer. We want to start taking advantage of location in our space. Because I think the key takeaway when it came to gathering that level of data was understanding that it's Wi-Fi connectivity is table stakes. In other words, everybody is expected to be providing that certainly for their employees, but for their customers, for the guests, and this type of thing. And that's great. If you've got that and you're doing it, fantastic. I certainly want to help you do it. And in fact, if you've done it with Cisco, be it Cisco that's got the AeroNet heritage or Cisco with the Meraki heritage, does not matter. Cisco DNA Spaces has the ability to actually start using location data from the very installation that you already have, begin adding value to be able to start doing innovative stuff in your space. So whether it's basic presence, like how many people are coming in at a certain time and just starting to understand how you're going to graph that, to going all the way up and going, you know what, just like they're doing over in the Cisco retail store, we can go, hey, I've got high value items over here, and then as Nish was showing us, they know which items are being carried into the fitting room, which means that now instead of waiting to a point of sale to kind of take a guess at what's popular, because maybe something is popular in your retail store in this example, but people are trying things on and you didn't have their size, but it never showed up at the point of sale, so you never knew, but that data could have been generated in your space if you have something simple as the wireless already ready to go. Start looking at Cisco DNA Spaces to add more value to that. And that's exactly what Sri has been sharing with us, is how do you add more value to the data that you already have? It's not hard to collect it, and now it's getting much, much easier with the tools and the resources and such that we continue to provide to be able to say, hey, let's start processing that data and then turning it around and use that to outdo our competition, to be able to move a little bit faster in our internal processes, which equates to bottom line results, just like the Port of Rotterdam, if you will, and what they're doing there. They're getting those ships closer and closer, if you will, because they're able to do the data and use their space more efficiently. We're having a lot of fun here. There's a ton of data here that we are sharing. In fact, one of the guys, when we were doing a behind the scenes at the NOC, I had a chance, and I don't know if they showed the video yet, I don't know if they finished it, but one of the things that always happens at every Cisco Live is that we get to take a look at the people that are putting together the very network that we all depend on. So every vendor that's in here, every Cisco employee, every guest, everything, including Cisco TV, we need to have the network ready to go. I have a video for you that shows exactly how much data they've been pushing and the innovative ways they've been doing it and the volunteers involved. We're going to show that a little bit later, but right now, let's go on out to my good friend Agam and take it away.
Thank you, Rob. I'm here at the Innovation Showcase, and we are really excited and looking forward to the speech of Todd Nightingale about Meraki. But meanwhile, I've got Simon Thompson, the Meraki evangelist, with me. Hi, Simon. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm good too, thank you. So Simon, we've got a few questions for you, mostly focused on the customer experience. So could you tell us more about the importance of customer experience at Meraki?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a mission statement at Meraki which is really all about simplifying powerful technology to allow passionate people to focus on their mission. And really for us that encompasses the spirit of customer experience, which is about so much more than just the technology itself, but also about all of the touch points, all of the ways that people interact with Meraki technology.
Thank you. And could you tell us more about like the latest innovations? And I'm sure we're going to hear more from Todd later. Yeah. But in general, like how could our customers augment their customer experience journey with Meraki?
Yeah, so we're thinking about this on many different levels. First of all, we've got to think about the customers, think about the IT administrators, and also think about the employees. And at every level, we're doing something that's going to make their lives a little bit easier. The technology itself is very straightforward to manage. Everybody who knows Meraki will know that very well already. So all the way from trying out Meraki, actually getting it installed very, very fast with the zero-touch provisioning. Once it's installed, we're thinking about how IT administrators get an easier life. So for example, somebody raises a trouble ticket that says, hey, the network's slow. Never happens, right? That happens all the time. So what we do is make it easier for the IT administrator to zoom in on the true source of the problem. And as customers move their apps more to the cloud, that becomes more and more important. So we're also thinking about how we can help our customers to deliver transformed digital solutions for their customers. And we do that using the APIs that we have at Meraki, various different types that we have available for multiple products, for provisioning, for analytics, location, and so on. And Todd's going to be covering all of this in a little bit more detail during his talk.
Sounds great. Well, I work in cybersecurity at Cisco, and from cybersecurity standpoint, I think we've gone very far with Meraki MX platform. For example, we've brought all the, well, I'll call them the fancy features, but like, very advanced security features like advanced malware protection. We've got Snort IPS on Meraki MX and so on. So what's next there? Are we continuing this partnership with the cybersecurity team?
Absolutely, and one of the things that I really like about our integration into the Cisco family is the way that we're bringing in the very best of Cisco's security technologies. So the fact that we work with the Talos group, the fact that we have the firepower technology built in, advanced malware protection, and so on. This means we're getting the best of Cisco's already world-class security technology built right into the MX platform that is, of course, also able to provide SD-WAN functionality for customers as well. So we're thinking about this on multiple levels. At every stage, simplicity and experience is really at the heart of it.
Sounds great. So you'd say essentially it's an end-to-end infrastructure with security embedded, and SD-WAN is definitely one of the hottest topics. Well, thank you, Simon. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And now back to the studio.
Excellent.
Take it away, Rob.
Hey, thank you so much. So yeah, I know Simon. I worked with him for a while. Funny story. There was a time we did a show, it was a long time ago, much closer to the Meraki acquisition, where I had a chance to go do some taping inside Meraki's main offices in San Francisco. A really, really cool office that they've got just a bunch of smart people all doing their thing. And I don't think I'm allowed back there again. Main reason, they serve free food, both for breakfast and lunch, and people bring their dogs in, and I didn't want to leave. Needless to say, it's a wonderful place, and they've showed me pictures since I left, but I have not been able to see it myself since we got there. Meraki is something you need to pay attention to, and that's why I'm so excited about this next showcase. Todd Nightingale is going to be speaking, and he's always entertaining because he covers a ton of great information. Because Meraki, you could easily make the mistake of thinking, oh yeah, aren't those the wireless guys that make things easier? And oh, I think they did some routing and some switching and stuff. Yeah, and they do a whole lot more, including security cameras. They do the AI, ML implementation using all of that gear to your benefit. I run the top of the line at my house because they were fortunate enough to give it to me, and it's so easy to use. My kids don't like it because I restrict them, but this is something to pay attention to. So right now, we're going to go over to Todd Nightingale, who's going to lead us in the Meraki Showcase.